Well, I'm often saying good evening when I do these, but here I am and it's Friday lunchtime. So I'm saying, well, just about good afternoon. I'm wondering whether to do these at different times. I have traditionally this year been doing these at 6 p.m. on a Tuesday. And I'm wondering whether I might change the time of day. So if anybody sees this retrospectively and has any views about what they think is a good time of day for me to be posting these live, then please let me know. I do understand that you can watch these at catch up at another time of day, so it's always there for you. And these are being converted into my YouTube channel as well, but maybe not as quickly as being able to see this in the time when I'm talking about it, which could be quite sort of time appropriate sometimes. So today I decided I would focus a little bit about liver. You know, it's not a trendy or exciting thing to think about when we think about the liver, but boy, is it so important to our health. And the reason why I thought about talking about it today is that the past 2 weeks, we finished by Sunday night, is I've just been running a 14-day program. And a number of people took part in that and got some really good results from doing it. And I ran a 14-day cleanse your gut, mind and body program. A big part of that is all to do with detoxification in a very gentle way, but doing it properly. This is being nurturing your body, feeding your body with the right foods. But of course, a big part of detoxification is actually to do with the liver. And I thought, well, this will be a good time to give some further explanations about what you can and should be doing to help look after your liver, to help keep it in good shape, and why you need to do that and the how. So the reason for running the cleanse program and the reasons why I said to people you might want to take part in this is the symptoms that can start to build up when we're not necessarily giving our body the focus it needs. We start to feel sluggish and we lack vitality, and we can get niggling digestive symptoms, and our skin can be affected, and we may get more headaches, or we may be just feeling flat and lethargic generally and just not feeling great overall. And that's one of the main reasons why I ran this program, and including myself as well, because no matter how well I may eat generally on a day-to-day basis, there is always that little bit more that I could be doing as well. And often one of the telltale signs I think that can show up of the liver not being great is this little area here. It can start to look really, really tired. And I was noticing that, especially when I sit here and do my lives, you know, and it's reflecting back at me, and I'm thinking, gosh, you know, I talk the talk to a certain degree, but of course there's more I could be doing. So, you know, the liver, plays a central role to detoxification. It has a number of detoxification pathways. It is a huge role in detoxifying chemicals and toxins that pass through the body, that are coming from the digestive tract, that are coming back to the liver as a result of metabolism that's gone inside the body, cleaning up dead cells and, you know, and getting rid of these toxins out through the gut. So the liver is a crucial part of detoxification. We need everything else to work in balance with that when you're doing a program. But that's what the liver's doing. And a big part of my cleanse detoxification program that I just ran was showing people how we detoxify well, safely, gently, and all the types of foods and ingredients and recipes that we use, and provided all of those recipes and those tools and techniques to do that. But what about all the other roles that the liver performs? You may not know that the liver has about 500 different functions. It's so many crucial things go through the liver, and it's actually the largest organ in the body. It's sitting sort of behind the top of the rib cage, and it extends quite a long way across. You can't feel it, but it's very big. It can regenerate itself. So it may be not performing 100%, but we are able to regenerate it. But it's, it may be showing signs and symptoms that it's not coping as well as it may be able to, for the very symptoms that I suggested, such as lower sluggish energy and poor skin, maybe even poor sleep as well. So its other roles, as well as detoxification, are helping with hormone balance, with menopausal symptoms, PMS symptoms. It has a really, really crucial role. Clients of mine that are experiencing those types of symptoms, I will always start to think about liver function as well. The stress hormones. If the liver is busy, if the body is busy dealing with stress, it may struggle with the hormones involved, with estrogen and progesterone and testosterone. Blood sugar regulation. The liver is very important because it actually stores glucose in the liver in the form of glycogen. So if your blood sugar levels are peaking and dipping all over the place, then it's going to pull on and call on the liver to release some of those sugar stores, so that it can try and prop up your energy a little bit. And bile production, which is very, very crucial for moving toxins out of the body. But bile is involved in breaking down, digesting fats in the body. So, if you're struggling a little bit with fat digestion, it could be to do with a problem going back to the liver not performing at its best. And it stores fat-soluble vitamins, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin K, and it also stores vitamin B12. Now, B12 is also involved in energy and other roles in the body. And it processes cholesterol. So it's really important in keeping cholesterol in balance. And we need cholesterol for the production of proper functioning cells, because cholesterol forms part of that cell membrane, enabling nutrients to get into cells and toxins to get out of cells. And cholesterol is involved in the production of our sex hormones like estrogen and progesterone. So the liver has many, many, many functions, as well as its detoxification ability. But if it's overrun with toxins, then it's going to be struggling to process all those toxins in its detoxifying role and then perform all its other functions alongside it. Now, it may well try and prioritize other functions over and above trying to detoxify. And if we aren't detoxifying well, those toxins are going to keep recirculating around the body. In terms of digestion, what happens is that the nutrients that come from the digestive tract pass via the liver before it then goes into the systemic circulation, and things can back up a little bit. So some digestive symptoms may be a sign that the liver is not being able to perform its role in supporting digestion as well as it could. So there's lots and lots of reasons why we do want to be taking care and love our liver. As I said, it's so important to our overall health. So some ways in which we can take care. I'd like you to think about how you can go away and reassess your diet. Reassess it for signs of toxicity. What is your toxic burden? That's the number one thing to think about. When you look at everything that you're piling into your shopping basket each week, how much of what you're putting in there is what I call clean, natural foods? The vegetables, fruit, as organic and as natural as you can buy, meats and fish and nuts and seeds. Not nuts and seeds that are salted. I'm talking about just plain nuts and seeds. How clean is the food in your basket? When we think about that, how much of it is processed? You may be putting ham in there, but that's processed in order to make the ham. There could be nitrates and nitrites. They have to be processed. They're chemicals. They have to go via the liver. They have to be processed. Are you buying any organic fruit and vegetables? Because the pesticide, fungicide residues on that fruit and vegetable has to go via the liver, and they're chemicals that are going to have to be processed. So how much of these are you putting into your basket each week? And I've talked many times before about looking at the Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen lists, which I think is pinned at the top in one of the files at the top of my Facebook group. that enables you to look at choosing those foods that have the least chemical burden, so you don't need to buy those necessarily as organic, but the ones with the highest chemical burden, then do think about buying those as organic. Now, we may not be in the barbecue season right now. I'm recording this in November, but if you spend a lot of time of your year having barbecues, that sort of burnt food is also having to go via the liver to be processed, you know, and I do have a bit of a view about the carcinogenic impact that if we eat barbecued food and if it is remotely burnt, what that's doing to the rest of your body. What about things like artificial sugars and any other chemicals in foods? You may think you're doing the right thing by choosing foods that have artificial sugars rather than natural sugars. What I would challenge you to do is why are you choosing any foods that need to be sweetened in that way? For example, I've been talking in other posts about protein powders. I talked to clients about protein powders. I talked about protein powders on my cleanse last week, and I would buy an unnatural, unflavoured natural protein powder, because as soon as we start putting flavours in there, usually there's going to be some sort of sweetener added, and it's either going to be a natural sugar or they're going to try and be healthy by putting some artificial type of sugars, even if it's stevia, and I would just try and choose the unnatural ones. So be careful with artificial sweeteners. Be very careful with damaged fats coming from vegetable oils. What are you frying your food with? If you're doing stir fries, if you're roasting vegetables, what sort of fats and oils are you using there? You may use coconut oil. You may be using olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. But if you're using things like sunflower oils or other cheaper vegetable oils, they get damaged when they're at high heat very, very quickly. So they're not good fats to be using. They're not helping your liver. Then start thinking about your sugars and your alcohol and your caffeines. When you start to break it down, just reassess the toxicity load, and is your shopping basket, your shopping trolley, consisting mainly of clean foods, and are you eating clean foods day to day? And medications. Now, of course, there are reasons why you may need to be taking medications, but sometimes the medications we're taking are over-the-counter ones, the OTC, the self-prescribed ones. And I find some people are using far too many painkillers. I think you need to get underneath the surface and think, why have you got so much pain? Or do you really need the painkiller? Have you got a headache because, well, your liver may need some support, or you're dehydrated, for example? So do you need as many painkillers? Because at the end of the day, medications have to go via the liver to be broken down, and therefore it's putting an additional burden on the liver. So look very, very carefully at those factors. So what things can you add to your diet that are really going to be supportive of liver function and liver health? Well, I've already mentioned olive oil in terms of being a good fat to use in cooking, but it's a great nurturing agent for your liver, as are lemons. Using lemons, they are great for the liver, for cleansing the liver. So are herbs and spices. Putting more herbs, and you can use dried ones, using more herbs in your diet are fantastic for the liver, as are things like turmeric, the curcumin, and cumin, and other spices. Brilliant. If you can tolerate them, add more of these to your diet. They are great for the liver. And vegetables, particularly the cruciferous vegetables, your broccoli, your sprouts, your cauliflower, your kale, the dark green leafy vegetables, in different ways, they all help support liver function and its detoxification ability. So adding more cruciferous and dark green leafy vegetables in your diet is a very, very good thing to be doing on a daily or certainly on a regular basis. So go away and have a think about how clean your diet is and what other nutrients you could be adding that are very supportive to helping liver health on a day-to-day basis. And as a final thought, as I said, it has a role to play in digestion, then it's a very good idea to give your liver a break of at least 12 hours every single night from performing any role in terms of digestion. So if you can go for at least 12 hours every single night and give it a break from performing a digestive role, then that's also going to be very helpful. Give your liver a rest from doing that so it can perform more optimally all its other roles that it needs to do. And you may extend that. Equally, on a daytime basis, making sure you're not constantly snacking and giving your whole digestive system, but in addition to that, your liver a break from time to time. So it's not constantly having nutrients that are passing through that it's got to deal with. So give it a break during the day as well. So those are the things that are the key things to focus on. As I said, in my cleanse that we did, we focused on this obviously in far more detail over a 2-week basis, and giving people the recipes and things to follow and things to remove from the diet and supportive tips to follow each day. The feedback was amazing. Some of the feedback at the end of those 2 weeks is people were absolutely buzzing, full of vitality, clearer skin, better mood, sound sleep, the things that you can achieve when you put your mind to it. For just this was not even at the end of 2 weeks. We were beginning to see signs of this within 7 days. So you can do this, and there are plenty of things that you can be doing just on a day-to-day basis without having to do things on a more extreme end of the scale in terms of a full 14-day cleanse program. Please sign up to my YouTube channel, which is called Peyton Principles Natural Health. If you're watching this through my social media channels, then please do that. And please come over and join my group if you're watching it through those channels, which is currently called IBS Relief, Take Back Your Control for Good Gut Health. But I am going to be renaming my group so that it more fully reflects the fact that I am posting out much more widely hints and tips to help you live better, live more healthily, as we start to get older, things that you can start to implement simply and realistically on a day-to-day basis. Thank you for your time, and I'll catch up with you next week.